Saturday night, the lights come alive, engines roar tonight. We drive from Laguna Seca to Usher Slibben's course. Clio warriors lining up with full force. Heat races split, stand and starts ignite. 2 laps in quali, chase that pole tonight. Bonus points waiting if you keep it clean. In the Renault Clio League, we're chasing the dream. Call Clio League Season 2. Feel the rush, we're coming through. 12 weeks, 12 tracks, 12 fights to the end. From the club to the international bands. Broadcast live for the world to see. Clio League, this is where we wanna be. Clio League Season 2. We race, we fight, we battle through. Heat races first, then feature 1. 15 minutes, pedal down, get it done. Feature 2 with the invert spin. Fight your way back, and the bonus points begin. Incidents free earns you points to spare. Hard charges flying through the air. If you win them both, clean and true, 10 more points, that's how champions do. Call Clio League Season 2. Feel the rush, we're coming through. 12 weeks, 12 tracks, 12 fights to the end. From the club to the international bands. Broadcast live for the world to see. Clio League, this is where we wanna be. Clio League Season 2. We race, we fight, we battle through. Laguna Seca, we race it. Los Sebring Club, we chase it. La Daytona Short, we own it. La Tsukuba, we've shown it. La Monza Junior, we fly. La Knock Hills Twist, we try. Got Usher, Slim and B, we'll never say goodbye. Oh, Clio League Season 2. Feel the rush, we're coming through. 12 weeks, 12 tracks, 12 fights to the end. From the club to the international bands. Broadcast live for the world to see. Clio League, this is where we wanna be. Clio League Season 2. We race, we fight, we battle through. One dream, one league. It's me and you. Clio League Season 2. Go.
The Renault Clio League is here. We are green and we are away here for heat race number 1. As there is more battles going on here. Matt Quill goes up the inside of Jared Swain. There's contact between Swain and Thibaut. Zach Thibaut moves to the inside and it looks like he's going to hold that position for P10, and he does. Both Dempsey and Hatfield run slightly onto the gravel there. That could have been a 1X. There's contact. Dempsey wiggles his bum, but through goes Linksome Hatfield. Up the inside, they're side by side. Dempsey is not giving up with that yet. He doesn't care that Linksome Hatfield is in Division 2. He wants that 6th position overall, and he goes up the inside of the corkscrew. A little bit of a lockup. They're both onto the gravel, the outside of Poplar. They're side by side up to the corkscrew. Who's going to break later? There's contact. A huge amount of contact. Poplet's off. And here comes Matt Gwilym. Matt Gwilym goes through. It's through the final corner. And from pole, here in Heat 1, he wins ahead of Helloeri. As we are green, and that is someone not on the line. Slugger is stopped on the line there. Cridland up the inside here, up towards turn number 2. Is he going to be able to go up the inside of Downey as well? No, he doesn't, but he is still side by side with Cook. Can Cridland get the position on Cook? Yes, he can. Position battling, going behind. There's contact. The 420 and more contact. The 9 involved. A huge hit for Richard Edgar. Side by side between Hansvik and Lane as they come through turn number 9 into 10. Hansvik holds the inside. Lane's on the outside. It's going to turn to the inside line at the final turn. Hansvik breaks a bit earlier, trying to go for the switchback. It doesn't work. Lane has got that position. Side. Lane on the outside. Hansvik on the inside of the corkscrew. That's a slide for Hansvik. It slides into Lane. And here comes Cook in the middle, making it 3 wide. Hansvik moves up to 4th. Here comes Hurd to win Heat 2. We are green and we are away here at Laguna Seca for the first feature race of the season as 29 Clios head up towards turn number 1. That's in the background as that is, I believe that's Mark Cord getting involved. More cars in. I think that was Hansvik as well involved in that one. A lot of cars involved. Up towards turn 10. Ian Lane goes to the inside. There was a little bit of a nudge there, but that was definitely Netcode. More contact. And that is a big crash. Where he got 3 bonus points for pole. He would have got the 10 points for winning Heat Race 1. He will get 25 points for winning Feature Race 1. The green lights are out. We are away here at Laguna Seca for Feature Race number 2 on our first Inverse. So, car off as well into the gravel. Couple of cars off. Lots of cars off. There goes the bonus points for a lot of drivers. Half the field involved in that wreck at the back there. This is position to Brendan Lobb. That's side by side. Lobb touches Dempsey. Dempsey holds it up the inside. Penalty for Brendan Lobb. Is that a slowdown? Or is that already an incident limit for Brendan Lobb? Oh, through turn number 2, they sort themselves out though. Neil Rocks ahead and around goes Kevin Anfield. Is that? No, who is that? That's Neil Trotter. Neil Trotter, the man who started this race in first. Some smoke for Risto Restman. He's down as a major wobble for Dempsey as he goes to the inside of Restman. Malone goes to the inside as well. A huge amount of curbing. It's going to be 3 wide. Malone settles down on the outside, though. He's on the outside of Westman here. Westman is doing his hardest. El Hueri is trying to move up the order as well. He is certainly another massive gainer in this race alongside Matt Malone. Those two, huge gainer. As that is Richard Dempsey. That was Richard Dempsey on the inside without anything on the front of his car. Black and yellow car. And Mark Pott goes to that inside line there as well. So that means that Matt Gwilym is going to be left behind, and that's contact. And that is going to be a huge slide for Neil Rock. Somehow he stays ahead of the pack. Towards turn number 1 is Hurd leading the way ahead of Cod. Who's going to lead the way? Is it going to be... Oh, Gould's off! Gould is off! After leading Division 2 for the first half of this race, he is off of the track. Once again, McBullough closes up. Once again, Poplar's going to go defensive up towards the braking zone. Braking a bit earlier this time for McBullough. Is he going to go for the exit? Gravel from Poplar. 0.3 of a second. It looks like Poplar may have just been able to hold on to this one. Perfect placement through the corkscrew. Here in Feature Race 2, the last race of the day. 4 races up towards the final turn. Defending from Poplar. There's contact. McBuller is going to try and get the faster exit, but he can't do it. Poplars wins at Laguna Seca Feature Race 2. Welcome back, racing fans, to the final of... Sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. Welcome to the virtual Sebring International Raceway for round 2 of the Renault Clio League Season 2. New this season, the Renault Clio League is broadcasted live for you to watch every week from 5:30 PM GMT. I hope you are once again ready for this one. Last week we saw some great action and it is bound to happen again. Before we focus too much on today's event, there are a few bits to remind you of and to let the new fans out there know how this season works. But let's start where I always do, the calendar for Season 2 of the Renault Clio League. After today's race here in Sebring, we head to Daytona next week, but we're not running the whole road course, never. We are running the short layout on August 2nd. We're heading to Portland with no chicane on August 9th for round 4, and then we have a week off between rounds 4 and 5 before we head to Tsukuba for the 2000 Moto Circuit. Heading then to Winton Club for round 6 before another week off on September 6th. We'll be back at Monza Junior for round 7, followed by Thruxton on September 20th. We head to the short layout at Nürburgring the week before our final rest week at the start of October. Did someone say Knockhill? Because we did. Back-to-back events at Knockhill on October 11th and 18th with the National Reverse Circuit and the International Circuit respectively. Finally, the season will end on October 25th at Oschersleben B course, the track I managed to win the invert race in the mini-season. That's right, we have inverted races because you are going to get treated today. Not just one race, not just 2, 4 races are coming your way today. So let's talk about the format of the event. Just your usual closed qualifying format for the event, but all your odd-numbered qualifiers will be heading out onto track for heat race number 1. All of your even-numbered qualifiers will be heading onto the track for heat race number 2. These heat races, just 10 minutes. You've got to wear your heart on your sleeve if you want to move up any position in the heats. Bonus points for the top 3 drivers in qualifying and 10 points on offer for the winner of the heats. A single bonus point is available for drivers who finish on the lead lap and complete the race with no incident points. All drivers will find their way onto the track for feature race 1 with the grid determined by the heat race results. 25 points on offer for the winner of this 15-minute race. 2 bonus points are on offer in feature race 1 if drivers complete a clean race. And finally, feature race 2, 20 minutes of racing action with an inverted grid, with the number reversed randomly selected each week. Last week, all bar 1 driver was included in that reversed grid. Where am I on my thing? Because I just came up with that on the spot and I am now lost. Excellent. 5 bonus points for the lead lap finishers with no incidents. Or 2 bonus points for lead lap finishers with no more than 4 instant points. We also had the Hard Charger Award in feature race 2 with bonus points given to drivers who have gained the most positions in that race. 6 points for the biggest gainer, 4 for the second biggest, and 2 for the third biggest. We're going to have drop weeks, 4 of the drivers' worst heat races, 4 of their worst feature race 1s, and 4 of their worst feature race 2s will be dropped. No official championships are available just yet, but they will be released between rounds 2 and 3. So next week we can give you a good look at how the championship lines up for the rest of the season. Run on the runways of World War II Air Base and the adjacent roads, Sebring International Raceway is the oldest permanent road racing circuit in the United States. On New Year's Eve 1950, a 6-hour event launched a history of racing at the track. Just 2 years later was the first 12-hour event that has become a staple at the 3.7-mile circuit. The club layout we're running today sits on the roads that surround the former airbase, but during the mini-season we saw a lot of drivers forget to turn off the main layout and straight line it through turn number 6 of the club circuit. So sit back, get yourselves comfortable and relax. It's round 2 of the Renault Clio League. And what a great league we have lined up for you, and a great event as well. Let's get ourselves straight onto the circuit here, because we do already have the start of this event, this practice session underway. It's a 25-minute practice session. About 15 minutes of it have been completed at the moment, and right now at the top of the standings in Jukovic being the fastest driver. As you can see, I have got most of our drivers displayed on the left-hand side with some fixes. There are still a few drivers apparently who aren't displaying correctly on my map, but my map is wrong all the time, so I'm ignoring that. On our timing screen, we do have 27 drivers, it looks like, in the server, which is lovely. If the driver is red on the left-hand side, that shows that they are a Division 1 driver. They are competing for the Division 1 championship. If they are in blue, they are competing for the Division 2 championship. So Jukovic, Hurd, Fox, Al-Hirari at the top of the standings. They are all competing for that Division 1 championship. Hilton, the fastest in Division 2 right now, ahead of Rosenfeld, who sits in 6th. Hagland in 7th, Downey in 8th, Swaim in 9th. McBula is 10th overall, but sitting in 6th in Division 1. That's what's important here, is noting those two divisions, because even though they're all on track at the same time, like a multi-class series, they are two different classes. So those racing in Division 1 are focusing on championship points only for Division 1 drivers. Those in Division 2 are fighting for Division 2 drivers. So it looks like I just have a really bad track map, so I am going to close that because I don't want to see it anymore, because that track map is confusing me with all of the colors. And as you can see, I need my colors because we are here looking now. We're going to go and actually look at Hurd. Stephen Hurd, he is the fastest man in the practice session at the moment, and I have just noticed that trading paints is not enabled, so we'll get that loaded up very quickly. This is what happens when I'm writing the scripts about 2 seconds before the start of the broadcast. I do apologise, I was a little bit late in sorting everything out today, but we're going to have some trading paints loaded. We'll see some skins out on these drivers very shortly. We've got Timothy Rosenfeld out on track right now as well, the number 502 machine. Now, he had a really poor running last week. He did not get off the line in heat number 2 in his heat race, which meant that he fell all the way to the back of the field, and he actually didn't have a great result over the course of that whole weekend. Of course, the points are going to be what matter. We're going to see those points heading into the next round, because we will finally get some true representation of the points on the board. Some names to note. Looking at your two divisions then, Al-Harari really dominant in the in his heat and feature race 1 last week, so he'll be interesting to watch from 3rd position, along with Jukovic as well. Super dominant driving from Jukovic in 1st position. Hurd was up there fighting, so we're seeing the same sort of drivers at the front of the field for sure. In your Division 2, looking at some of those names there, I would actually say some of your names in Division number 2 aren't as many that we'll recognise from last week. We've got Anders Hagland the 747 driver. He's second in class at the moment, 7th overall. Might be a driver that you may notice and recognise. Here is Rosenfeld then. So the surrounding in that Slugger livery, that blue and white, very patriotic and very lovely looking livery. That livery seems to work on whatever car he goes in, and right now it is the Clio. So this layout, we're actually going to ride on board. So this is turn number 1 of the layout here, down at the bottom end of the circuit. Well, technically turn number 2 actually, with the start finish line. Up towards turn 5 at Tower, getting over the curbing on the right, left-hand side, turns it into the right. Now, this is where we saw a lot of drivers in the mini-season head straight. It's easy to forget that this layout turns to the right, and Rosenfeld, I'm going to forget to say Slugger all the time, it's Rosenfeld turns to the right there, gets back onto the main course as it loops around to turn 7, through 8 and up towards Big Bend, and actually Rosenberg decides to back out of that lap. El Hilary ends the lap for us. Here he comes through turn number 10, up towards turn number 11, and then the start-finish line is right about here. And the pit entry, blink and you miss it, it's to the right there. We shouldn't be needing that in these races, but in case we do, we saw a lot of drivers getting black flagged last week. That is where it is. We'll
hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to the Clio League. We're at Sebring Club today. To briefly go over everything. Right after practice here in 4 minutes, we're going to go into the full wheel 2 laps. You have 7 minutes to do 2 laps. Then we'll be split into 2 heats by your qualifying time for 10 minutes in length. Then, our race is consolation. The next race is for everybody all together, 15 minutes. Then we'll have a warm-up period with the invert, which is 20 cars, I believe, today. And then the second feature race is 20 minutes after the warm-up period, and that's the how the session works. Things to know about Sebring Club: you do have to slow down for that one corner and not keep going on to International, so remember to do that. And if you do need to pit for any reason, the pit road is incredibly weird, but as seen, there's no fuel stops or anything because we're not a 5-hour-long endurance race. You shouldn't have to do that. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and good luck in the race and everything.
That was the voice of league admin there, Ian Lane, reminding the drivers of the things that I've talked about. That turn off on through turn number 6, not to run the international layout, but to get onto the club layout. And then that incredibly challenging pit entry if they require it. Now, we've got some good information
Thanks,
coming
Checker
up.
Directors. I really like your league.
As we do have voices this week, which I thought would be a great addition to hear the
Thank
chaos going on underneath. So we will hear the voices of the drivers and the league admin there as they go around. We should hear some amazing commentary coming out of the drivers' mouths firsthand, which I think will be fantastic to watch. Let's see if we can get ourselves into a nice situation here. End of practice session. We're looking at Fox right now. He's 4th. Of course, practice not meaning too much. It's all about what these drivers do in their 2 laps of qualifying. But it is nice to see the drivers heading around. This is Joshua Soto. He's 11th in class, 17th overall. Of course, those class standings are important. And actually, let's have a quick look here at how our 2 classes actually stand at the end of practice, so that we can see accurately how these divisions stand. Jukovic is the fastest here in practice for the Division 1 drivers. Al Hireri in 2nd, third fastest, followed by Fox and Rosenfield. They're the top 5 fastest at the 15 drivers that are in that division, and that is all 15 drivers. 12 drivers in division number 2, and it is Anthony Hilton who is the fastest of all of those, ahead of Anders Hagland. Hagland, a driver getting into the fights last week. I've just been editing all of the highlights, of course, from round number 1, and Hagland was a name that was truly getting into the fight with the Division 1 drivers. Swain, another fast driver up there, followed by Riley Downey, new driver racing today, I believe. We got Zach Tebow as well, 5th position in the Division 2 class. So that's interesting to see how those divisions line up there as we're getting drivers finishing their sessions here. And we're not too worried about the standings, obviously, of practice, but they are a very good representation of the type of lap times that we'll be seeing, but also the order that we may be seeing these drivers coming in. Hilton and Hagland and Swain. Swain was a driver up there last week as well. Tebow, I remember him from last week as well, could be getting involved in there. Edward Ayala at the back of the Division 2 field, at the back of the field overall. But actually, there's quite a few pro drivers down towards the back as well. Matt Malone, Eric Martin, Mark Cogg, Neil Rocks, all towards the back of the overall standings, as well as their pro standings there. Right, session coming to a close here. As practice comes to a close, qualifying is going to be coming your way. It is lovely to hear some of those voices in the background. I think that's going to add so much to this broadcast, which will be lovely to see as well. We are going to be starting qualifying in a moment's time. This is Harry Fox, one of the first drivers to head out on track. 2 laps, of course, for each of these drivers, as they will be putting in 7 minutes on the clock for qualifying, but 2 laps is how many they have to do. We are going to watch Harry Fox here to see how he does. He was inside that top 5 of Division 1. It's going to be interesting to see where they go in this one. We are going to get some good information up on the board once they get in lap times as well. But right now, a very short lap, of course, so the outlap's not going to take too long, and then we are going to ride on board with Harry Fox, actually, to see how he does, and he can give us a true full lap representation of the Sebring Club circuit here, which we weren't able to get on board Timothy Rosenveld. Here he comes. This is through turn number 10. All of these wiggles, turn number 10. This is turn number 11, which will end the lap, and the lap will start right about now as we go on to the first time lap for Fox here. As here he is, up towards turn number 2. That kink to the left is turn number 1. First heavy braking zone into turn number 2 here for the 221 machine. Through turn 3 of Collier as he comes up towards Tower now. Turn number 5. Turn number 6 is surely not going to catch anyone out this time. It caught people out in the off-season in that mini-season. But is it going to catch anyone out today? Hopefully not. In qualifying, through goes Harry Fox into turn number 6. Rejoining the international circuit almost immediately. Turn 7 here to the right. Into turn number 8, the long left-hander. I'm sure we can see a lot of drivers running onto that gravel and the grass on the outside. Into turn number 9, through Big Bend. And in these cars, it is longer than ever. An extremely big bend indeed. Heading up towards the hairpin here of turn number 10. Going to be heavy on the brakes. Try not to lose the rear end. Try not to lock up as you go to the tight line there. Not cut this corner in qualifying. You don't want the instant point through turn number 11. We go up towards Fangio, across the line. And there we go. A lap time on the board for Fox, surely, as we come back up towards turn number 2 here. Harry Fox puts a 13.3 on the board. It's not the fastest. That goes to Hurd right now. Riding on board with McBuller. McBuller got second in feature race number 2 last week with the invert. What can he do here as he comes across the line? Will McBuller get in a nice time? It's a 13.7, so it places him in about P10, or is it not a valid lap here? It does show it as a lap for some reason. Not showing as a valid lap though. We're definitely running a live, aren't we? We are. As Levi Powell here is in 12th overall, 4th in class right now. It is Hagland fastest in class. Jukovic, he got pole in round number 1. He won heat 1. He won feature 1. Can he do the same here today? He is a 10th clear of El Hirari at the top. El Hirari did tell me, just call me Mohammed if you really struggle with my name. I'm going to try my best to say everyone's names as best I can. And I'm going to always forget to go to Mohammed because we've only got last names this week up on the left-hand side as we've got our class order decided by colour, which is quite nice. And we can see a lot of the pro drivers heading up towards the top here. Is it going to be an improvement for Jukovic over the line? It was a 12.7 before. It is a 12.06 this time around. A very quick lap indeed as Zach Thibault goes fastest of the Division 2 drivers. And he goes to the top of the line there. Is Soto out on track? Apparently Soto is. Let's see if we can see him here. There is Soto. Joshua Soto right now without a lap time on the board. What corner are we going into here? Oh, here we are. Where are we? Oh, we were just at turn 1. Right, we were just at turn 1. We're now into turn number 5. That was a really weird camera angle. Really took me a moment there to get the corners. That was through Tower into turn 6 here. Soto looks like did put a lap in last time around 1:17.6. Was that an out lap or was that just a really slow lap? Isn't displaying on our standings on the left-hand side at the moment. If we head into the last couple of minutes of this qualifying session, we will get the grid up in a moment. Remember, those on the left-hand side will be starting heat race number 1, and those on the right-hand side will be starting heat race number 2. Here comes Soto through the final corners. Edward Ayala also without time. Soto, Division 1, be trying to pace it up. Look at that, though. A lot of Division 2 drivers altogether. Thibault so far ahead of all of them, though. 2 tenths quicker. As across the line goes Joshua Soto. Is it going to be a valid lap time? It's a 1:13.7. Moves into 16th and splits the Division 2 drivers. We are going to call it a close to our session there. And this is the order. Left-hand side will be starting Heat 1. Right-hand side will be starting Heat 2. In Heat 1, we will see Jukovic on pole. In Heat 2, we will see El Hiriri on pole position. Following behind that, we then have Hurd in Heat 1 alongside Luis Enriquez. We'll see John Cook in Heat 2 alongside Timothy Rosenfeld. Heat 1 then, we'll see Harry Fox, Ian Lane and Matt Malone with Heat 2. In 4th position will be Zach Thibault, followed by Bob Poplett and Anders Hagland. Then it will be Anthony Hilton in Heat 1 alongside Levi Powell and Jared Swaim. Heat 2 will see Perez, Soto and Edgar. Heat 1 will have Van Rouge, Downey and Rocks. Heat 2 will have Gould, Martin and McIntyre. And at the very back in Heat 1 we'll see Mark Codd and Clayton McBooler. We will see Edward Ayala in Heat 1 as well. No lap time placed for him in that session. Qualifying over here then at Sebring, and we are preparing ourselves for Heat 1 and the first of 4 races. I'll remind you of the grid here as drivers start to get themselves onto the grid. We've got Jukovic out front, followed by Hurd. Then it is Henrique and Fox on row number 2. Lane will start from 5th ahead of Matt Malone. They're all pro Division 1 drivers. Division 2 drivers of Anthony Hilton will start in 7th, followed by Levi Powell. Then it'll be Jared Swain, Paul Van Rouge and Riley Downey. Neil Rocks, Mark Codd and Edward Ayala will round out this 14-car field for heat race number 1. Expected to be 9 laps long for this race. We will get our class order this week as well. We had some issues with that last week, but we'll be able to properly see those orders, which should mean in feature race 2, we should get our hard chargers on the right-hand side.
Hey, good luck out there, drivers. Make sure you got your track map up.
A reference there to turn number 6. Of course, drivers going along the international layout accidentally in the mini-season. As we are gridding, we have got about 30 seconds left until these drivers are going to be heading away from the line for the first time today. This is a fantastically beautiful day. We're about 22 degrees here, degrees Celsius, I should say, here in Sebring, USA. It's about 10:30 in sim time. The track temperature looking at about 27 degrees Celsius with a short blow of 13 km/h winds. It's nice and dry out there. No expectation of rain, but it is quite humid. 65% humidity. 10 minutes on the clock then. Drivers are going to be preparing themselves here for heat race number one.
Green flag.
We are green and away we go. Jukovic from the start. You heard from P2. Luis Henrique is behind, tucking up towards turn number one. It goes rather single file pretty quickly up until the Division 2 class there as they all come through. Some wonderful mixes of liveries here on lap number one, but it is Jukovic leading the way overheard and Henrique as they head through now up towards turn number 6. Is anyone going to miss the turn? It doesn't look like they are. It doesn't look like Fox has got away at the back of the field.
Surrounded by the two people
There
that went off
he
on our
is.
first visit here.
Not too sure what happened to Harry Fox there, but he did not
We
get
haven't crossed the
away.
finish line yet.
Riley Downey has just got past Neil Ross into position number 8 out of 9, third in class. You can see on the left-hand side there, Rocks down to 10th. They are in different categories. We've got to keep an eye on this, of course. The classes are what matter, but so do the overall positions for bragging rights. And right now, Jukovic leads the way in Division 1 and overall. It's Hurd in P2, Luis Henrique in P3. It's Anthony Hilton leading Division 2 on the rear end of Matt Malone here. You've got Levi Powell just behind Anthony Hilton. Through turn 2 they go as they head up now towards Tower of turn 5. Could there be a move here from Powell, running a slightly different racing line on Hilton? This is the fight we're watching right now. This is the fight for first in class. So let's see how this goes right now. And at the moment, it's looking pretty safe for Hilton. Drivers just running one behind the other, going for whatever they can right now, which is just to be safe. There's Levi Powell. Sits in P number 2 right now in class. He is trying to chase down Anthony Hilton. There he is, Anthony Hilton, P1 in class. Half a second between the two of them right now. 14 cars on the field for heat race number 1. Splitting the entire grid, of course. We will see a second set of drivers heading down for heat race number 2 at the end of this one. Hurd goes fastest overall right now on that lap, a 13 flat. He is about half a second behind Jukovic. Cod moves down the order. Some issues for him at turn number 1. Let's see if we can get a quick replay of what's happened there. He's just gone a bit too deep there at turn number 1 for Mark Cod as Jukovic continues to lead the way ahead of her. These drivers at the front up to Matt Malone, even to Hilton, even all the way back I would say. These gaps are about half a second up until Paul Van Rouge, 5th in class, 10th overall. As drivers, you can see fastest lap times being placed on the board. Not all drivers getting a valid lap in yet. They've got the instant points, some of them use them, but what that does tell you is those drivers will not be getting the bonus point on offer for a clean heat race. Those with a valid lap time right now could be en route to getting that bonus point, which would be nice for them. Back of this train of drivers in the Division 1 category, there's Matt Malone, but Powell looks like he's going to try and go up the inside of Anthony Hilton into turn 2. He can't quite do it. The 33 machine stays behind at 420, but off goes Hilton. Slightly wide. Powell moves out the line. It's going to be 3 abreast for the lead in Division 2. Heading up towards turn number 5. They settle it down. Hilton leads the way still. Downey onto the gravel around the outside, but Riley Downey moves past Levi Powell. Powell going for an alternate line and get into line of turn number 6. That's allowed Jared Swaim on the rear. This is the fight for 6th overall, but for the lead in Division 2. Off goes Powell. Swaim closing down here. Could have an opportunity up to the hairpin in this fight for P1. To the right-hand side, Swaim looking for 3rd right now, past Levy Powell. That's lock-off on both of them. Contact.
I'm sorry, Riley.
Swaim goes into Downey. Apologies over the radio. Hilton is clear. Powell returns to the circuit in P2. Van Rouge moves to 3rd. Downey on track ahead of Cod. Let's Cod to the left-hand side. Swaim do as well. It was a double lockup and Swaim just collecting Riley Downey in that fight. And that means Anthony Hilton here, P6, but 1st overall is going to have a very clear 5-second lead to Levy Powell, 2nd in class. Powell now under attack from Paul Van Rouge behind. Van Rouge was in 5th in class. He's somehow now 3rd and on the rear end of 2nd position. We're halfway through this race. 6 minutes down. 4 minutes to go here in heat race number 1 right now. Jukovic leads the way, and Enrique does not want to give Hurd any opportunity of pulling away in 2nd. It's about 4 tenths between them here. It's a battle for P2 overall and P2 in class, just like our battle for P2 in class of Division number 2. Let's have a look at how our standings look in divisions right now. Jukovic leading that Division 1 field ahead of Hurd and Henrique in 3rd. Then comes Lane and Malone. Rox, Scott and Fox follow behind at a bit of a distance right now. Henrique all over the rear end of Stephen Hurd. This is for P2 in class. And P2 overall, I should say. About 4 tenths between them right now. You shouldn't count out Ian Lane. He's back there in 4th position. League admin, of course, but doesn't abuse those powers. He is going to try and catch up as best he can, as that was a Jukovic lagging there. We do not want to see that from our race leader. Hurd and Henrique closing into this fight right now. And I think we could see a nice battle going on for P1 in Division 1 right now. At the moment, though, there's a little bit of a gap between each of them. There is still that fight going on for P2 in Division 2. We'll keep an eye on that. Hurd one slightly wide at turn number 2. He's got Enrique behind, who is going to try and go for P2 if he can close up just enough. It's about 3 tenths of a second between the two of those at the moment. And in fact, we've got the intervals now on that battle screen on the left-hand side. This is the battle, though, for P number 2 in class. This is Paul Van Rouge in the Acertec machine. He's chasing down that Velcro machine of Levy Powell. Mark Todd is in the student driver machine behind. And he is fighting Anthony, well, he's going to try and fight, Neil Rox, as off goes Van Rouge. Rox is in 6th in class, 7th overall, so he's a couple of places ahead, and he's leading it in that whisk machine at the front there. Back to this fight at the front, which has definitely turned into a fight for P2. That's for sure, between Hurd and Henriquez right now. And you can see about half a second between the two of them as they head on through turn number 2. A minute and a bit left. I'm going to say white flag next time around. Jukovic leading this way in dominant fashion. Not as much of a gap as I believe he pulled out last week. Hurd, of course, was in heat race 2 last week. So this is the first time they go in head-to-head in heat race 1. Luis Enriquez is trying his hardest in the number 20 machine to close up to 3rd. Van Rouge and Mark Todd swapping positions. It looks like it could just be Van Rouge having another issue, possibly.
All right.
As no, it's a Mark Cod issue, and it looks like he's gone into Van Rouge.
Okay.
He has. Apologies on the radio, and it looks like it was all okay there, but what has happened here? It looks like it's into turn number 6 between these two drivers. Van Rouge has got a meatball flag. Up towards turn 6. Mark Cod is the one that went into him behind. Is that a... He's forgotten about the layout. Mark Cod has forgotten to turn off for the club layout and has gone to the international layout and has taken out Van Rouge. Both drivers down pit lane at the end of Heat 1. A shame for Van Rouge, who was in it with a chance of getting a podium in division here. This is still the battle for P2 on the last lap of the race. It's a battle for P3 in class in Division 2 between Downey and Swain, drivers who have benefited from others' issues, both of them going off earlier, of course, through contact. So at least they have recovered in some way. Levy Powell is still ahead of him in second, but Anthony Hilton leads Division 1. But this, leads Division 2, but this is Division 1. And this is Jukovic leading the way ahead of Hurd and Luis Henriquez. Looks like Henriquez can't do anything on this last lap of the race. Will just come home in a comfortable 3rd position as they come across the line. Jukovic wins here at Sebring for heat race number 1. As they go up towards turn number 2, let's have a look at how this result is going to look overall.
One thing I found the pre-race
as
driver thing is there is a broadcast
the last driver across the line.
High Phil, and he also does YouTube compilations and whatnot for the league. New to me, so I forgot about it. Good luck to those in Heat 2.
Jukovic won heat race number 1 ahead of Hurd. Luis Henriquez took second,
my bad, Riley. I didn't
followed
need to
by
do that.
Henriquez. Ian Lane took 4th behind Matt Malone. And Anthony Hilton won Division 2 in 6th position. Neil Watts came home 7th overall. Levy Powell in 8th, followed by Riley Downey and Jared Swain. Edward Ayala took 11th, followed by Harry Fox, Mark Cod and Paul Van Rouge at the back of the field. We're going to get ourselves ready for heat race number 2 here. These were the even-numbered qualifiers that will be getting onto the track for this one. It is El Hilary who will be starting this one from the very front of the grid, ahead of John J.C. Cook in second. Timothy Rosenberg will take 3rd, followed by Zach Tebow, who is the fastest of the Division 2 drivers. Bob Poplet is in 5th position on row 3 ahead of Anders Hagland. Then it's Perez, Soto, Edgar, Gould, Martin, McIntyre, McBuller.
Green, green, green.
And we are green for heat race number 2. As away we go. 10 minutes of our 2nd race of the day. El Hilary pulls across the left-hand side as it all goes single file up until the point. About the same point last time, about 10th place, where it starts to go side by side. They're settling themselves down now, but that looks like a fight for 5th or 6th position, as it looks like Anders Hagland trying to get past Bob Poplet there. Poplet 4th in class, Hagland 2nd in class. Different categories there. McIntyre looking to get up the inside of Eric Martin. Remember, they're different divisions, but they're going to want to get past each other because they are going to want to move up in their own divisions right now. McIntyre spitting Martin and McBuller in Division 1. At the back there, off the circuit, that was Richard Edgar, as well as Eric Martin towards the back of the field. We are going to see here the race leaders. Here is El Hilary. He is leading the way ahead of Cook. McBuller fighting away at the back of the field. 3 wide into the hairpin is Martin ahead. McIntyre and Buller teammates, it looks like, running side by side at the back there, but this is weird. Eric Martin involved as well. McBuller is stuck at the back of this train. And no, it is McIntyre stuck at the back of the train. He's in Division 2. He doesn't want to get involved in any fights between the Division 1 drivers ahead. If we can get our standings up Not too sure why they're not showing. There we go. El Herrera leading that way at the front. This is side by side. Behind, though, is Zach Thibault. Side by side with Bob Poplar. Thibault goes off the circuit. He is pushing it hard. Thibault is leading Division 2. He is fighting hard with Bob Poplar, who is in Division 1. More door-by-door contact there as they get up into turn 7. Through turn 8, is Poplar going to be able to keep it on track? He does, but Thibault closed that door, and now he has placed a Division 1 driver in between himself and Hagland and Perez, who are second and third in class. He is really going to love that. Mohammed is pulling out in the lead, 8 tenths ahead of Cook, 9 tenths ahead of Cook, as Rosenfeld is a further 2 seconds back and only just ahead of this fight, which is about 8 tenths back right now. Poplar wants to get back through. Poplar, of course, wants to fight with Rosenfeld for P3 if he can, heading up towards turn number 2. That kink, that left-hander is turn 1, up towards the braking zone. Poplar's on the outside, but it's a very wide line, and it's going to allow Anders Hagland to go through. No. And in fact, Aaron Perez is there now alongside Poplar as well. And more to Poplar's annoyance, Joshua Soto is the driver just behind him in the 23. So Poplar has been passed by 3 Division 2 drivers and is now under attack from Soto. There is a fight for the lead of Division 2. Thibault leads Hagland here as they head up towards the hairpin, as that's Perez behind in the 25, not wanting to fall back off the 747. It's a 3-car fight for the lead in Division 2. They are going very close together here as they head up into the hairpin. Turn number 10. Out of the hairpin they go, keeping it nice and sensible. Perez all over the rear end of Hagland. We've had some issues in that hairpin already today, of course, with some lockup. But here goes Perez. He's going to be on the outside of Hagland onto the braking zone. Perez gets a really good overlap, and through goes Aaron Perez into second position. Anders Hagland now has Bob Poplar over the rear. Poplar is going to go up the inside of Hagland. Is Poplar going to go deep? No, he gets a perfect layup there. He moves to defend. Anders Hagland goes for that move. Now Anders Hagland has got Soto on the outside. Hagland is going to now have to fight with Soto. Is he going to go fighting? Yes, he is. Door-to-door contact there. Coming through up towards the bend. Both drivers keeping it on just, but now Hagland still third in class, has 2 Division 1 drivers between himself and the leading 2, and Richard Edgar now is just behind as well. This is back to the fight for the lead in Division 2, and they are right on the rear end of Timothy Rosenfeld, who sits third. Rosenfeld is going to be fighting for second in class with Cook as well. So we've got 2 class battles here. The one for second in Division 1 ahead, and the one for first in Division 2 behind. But Thibault has gained about a 6/10 gap here. Is Thibault going to try and place Rosenfeld between himself and Perez? It looks like he's going to try, because Thibault's up the inside of Rosenfeld for third overall. Rosenfeld holds the outside line. You can keep just a bit more speed there as we ride on board now with Zach Thibault in 4th position over the gravel. He won't be getting the bonus point for clean racing, that's for sure. Perez is getting pushed by Bob Poplar here up to the hairpin. We saw something like this last race. It did not end well. Is it going to end better here? There is contact, and through goes Aaron Perez to the lead of Division 2. Zach Thibault moves down to second in class. There was definitely some contact that has put him under fire there, but Perez is now going to try and fight Rosenfeld. to put another car between himself and Tebow. Already got Bob Poplar there, but Poplar is going to go for the move here. On the left-hand side, they're side by side. It's Rosenfeld leading the way. Poplar's got the outside, he closes the door on Perez. Both of them onto the grass, and here comes Poplar up the inside of Rosenfeld. There's not contact, but through once again goes Aaron Perez, still leading Division 2, but back into 4th place in class. And he is getting pushed now by Poplar. We saw this last lap. How is it going to play out this lap? Is Zach Tebow going to take advantage of this one? To the left-hand side, Perez goes! He's getting pushed by Poplar. He runs wide, just like Tebow did last lap. Bob Poplar now under attack by Zach Tebow. Poplar has pushed both Tebow and Perez off track, out of the lead of Division 2. Is Poplar going to see some of that come back at him? He's on the outside of Rosenfeld. Through goes Zach Tebow. They're side by side, and Tebow goes back into 4th overall. He moves to the left. Is he going to try and get past Rosenfeld on a slightly different line here? What is Poplar going to do? Are we going to see a 3rd lap in a row where he pushes the drivers ahead? It is Rosenfeld on the outside in turn 6. He holds 3rd overall, as this is a mixed fight of Division 1 and Division 2 drivers right now. This is absolutely phenomenal racing, as we see them head up to the hairpin. Is Poplar going to push Tebow once more in this fight for 3rd overall? No. We're going to see them all get through cleanly this time. 1.5 minutes on the clock. We are going to see 2 more racing laps. This fight has allowed Cook to pull a 3.5 second lead out front. To the inside goes Bob Poplar, but Tebow going for the outside of Rosenfeld. He is still there. They're side by side for 3rd overall. Tebow ahead of Rosenfeld, but he's stuck on the outside into turn 5. He's got significant overlap. He's onto the gravel. He comes back on. Here comes Poplar. To the inside, can't do it. He's got Aaron Perez. It's 2 by 2 for 3rd position right now. You could even say that Joshua Soto is getting involved in this fight behind. This is an astonishing fight, as drivers once get onto the gravel. It's going to give Tebow an advantage. It's Division 1 drivers on the right, Division 2 drivers on the left, followed by Soto. They're going to head up to the hairpin here. Is Poplar going to be able to do anything? Mohammed is going to win Heat Race 2. Cook is going to take 3rd. There's contact. As Slugger, Rosenfeld and Poplar come together, Tebow is going to get 3rd and 1st in class. Then it comes Rosenfeld, Perez and Poplar. What a race that was. Let's have a look at how the race lines up at the end of that one. After 9 laps of racing, Mohammed won with a 6-second gap over John Cook. Tebow got 3rd, followed by Rosenfeld. Perez in 5th, Poplar 6th. Soto in 7th, followed by Edgar, McBula and Martin. It was Peter McIntyre, Zach Gould and Anders Hagland rounding out the field. Hagland going out near the end of that one. We missed it in the massive fight that was going on. But the heat races are over. Both heat races done for the day. But don't worry, guys. We've still got 2 more races heading your way. We've got Feature Race 1 coming up in a moment's time. And Feature Race 2 coming up very, very shortly. What a fantastic race that was, as the checkered flag flies.
I gotta tell you, that's the most fun I've had this fucking service in a long time,
A
buddy. I tell you
great
what,
end to that
man,
one.
that was fun.
as the checkered flag flies
Good
here
day,
at
guys.
the end
What
of
we on
heat
the-
race number 2. You can hear some great
Hell yeah, brother.
commentary going on in the background through the drivers there. What a result. We'll be gritting
Wow,
up.
that group in the second heat for the free league highlight reel. That was amazing. Good luck to everyone in the first feature.
We will be watching
Yeah,
the
great
first
racing. Sorry
feature
about
in
the
a
little
moment's
mistakes, guys.
time.
I
As
feel
you can
like
hear
crap.
all the drivers
Like,
congratulating
awesome
each
racing.
other there. As the drivers are going to get themselves started for the feature race 1. Here is your starting grid then, flying through your top drivers there. Zach Thibault being the leading Division 2 drivers. The drivers on the grid, about 30 seconds until we go. It is a very full grid of drivers heading out in this one. 27 drivers to head to the field. It is Jukovic leading that way then here for the start of feature race 1 as we get ourselves sorted for the start of the big one. This is the one where most points are on offer. 15 minutes on the clock means 13 racing laps. How's it going to end up here? Let's find out, because we're green and we are away. Jukovic off from pole. Mohammed off from second from the front row there. All 27 drivers heading up towards turn number 1. Looks like actually we've only got 26 drivers racing on this one on the green flag lap here. Lap 1 of 13 in this 15-minute race. Heading up towards turn number 5, mostly single file from the drivers. A couple of battles down the field, including Aaron Perez and Matt Malone. We saw Perez getting involved in some really great fights in heat race number 2, and sure to get into it in feature race number 1. We've got Matt Malone just behind in that 15-minute clock, counting down here. All the drivers heading through then. Let's get ourselves a standing order so we can see where they all line up. Zach Thibault leading division number 2 right now. He's 6th overall and a really good position to be for the division 2 driver. Matt Malone on the back of Aaron Perez once more. Matt Malone 8th in class, will be trying to get past that division 2 driver. Poplar stuck behind Thibault once more. He was really wanting to get those positions in heat race number 2. Can he get past in feature race number 1? Let's find out. He goes for the tighter line through turn number 2. Looking for the speed on the exit. It doesn't quite pay out for him at the moment. They've got Ian Lane just behind. Here goes Poplar up the inside of Zach Thibault. He does it, and he does it cleanly this time. He makes that move, but it's not so clean behind. Aaron Perez goes for the lead in Division 2. Contact with Zach Thibault. Aaron Perez is back on track, so is Zach Thibault. But Anthony Hilton has taken the lead in Division 2. As Thibault and Perez some contact in that and move down the order. Here comes Timothy Rosenfeld. He sits 11th in class and he wanted to make his way through here as they head up towards the hairpin for the second time.
Like that, but there's not much choice.
And he's got the wobbling driver of Riley Dowdy just behind, and Riley Dowdy goes slightly sideways. He holds the slide though. Swain and Powell down positions here, and they go through the hairpin and lose a little bit of time. Some calling out over the radio there. Mark Pod to the back of the field. Anthony Hilton has got past Ian Lane. And of course, this is the driver who is leading Division 1. There he is, pulling out in front of Ian Lane. But that's the contact between Soto and Lane. Lane on the right-hand side of the track. Soto on the left takes the position. And here comes Malone on the outside of Ian Lane. Soto now up the inside of Anthony Hilton for 7th in class, 7th overall. Hilton leading that Division 2 is going to fight back with Joshua Soto, not letting it go. Right now, there's swap over, there's contact. And around goes Joshua Soto in front of the field as Jukovic and El Hilary at the front are closing together along with Hurd there. Hilton now behind. This is the gaggle of drivers as they head up to the hairpin. Riley Downey, where was he going in all of that? Straight through, but this is the fight, and I cannot tell you what position it starts in. I can just tell you there's a ton of drivers in this one. Anthony Hilton chasing down Ian Lane for 9th overall. Hilton in 10th right now. It's Malone and Perez, the two drivers ahead. There's contact from behind as Hilton gets nudged. Here comes Rox and Fox. Fox on the left-hand side. As they're side by side, the two teammates here of Harry Fox and Neil Rox. Harry Fox going for the outer line. A little bit of a wobble from Hilton ahead. Aaron Perez is once again leading Division 2. Lock up from Harry Fox. And he goes straight on. He gets it back on before going into the international circuit. He's down to 13th in class right now. As they all start to try and settle themselves down as Harry Fox goes side by side here with Levy Powell. Two different divisions. How hard are they going to fight it? We've seen the divisions don't really matter too much on track. These drivers are going to go for it. Is Downey going to be able to make the hairpin this time? He's alongside. Zach Gould, he semi-makes it, cuts the course. Surely we'll be getting a slowdown for that. And he is going to have to give up the position to Gould. No, he's not. He's going to come across Gould and defend that position. Riley Downey, 6th in class. There we go. He moves to the right-hand side. And he's going to take care of that slowdown. He has to let Gold, McIntyre and Van Rouge all the way through with that slowdown. Here's the fight for the lead right now. Is it going to be a fight as Mohammed has closed right to the back of Jukovic for P1? Stephen Hurd is not too far back to take advantage if there is some sort of battling going on here. We're only 5 minutes into this one, therefore we've still got 10 minutes on the clock. This is Richard Edgar. He comes through. Turn number 5, he has made his way past Levy Powell behind. You can see that train of drivers just up ahead, which is just running up towards P number 10. Second in Division 2, Anthony Hilton. He leads this train of drivers. As Aaron Perez, leading Division number 2, is right behind Matt Malone. As here comes Timothy Rosenfeld to go up the inside. Doesn't do it in the 502 machine and is going to have to settle back to the fight for the lead, because that is still continuing at the moment, this 3-car fight. If they can keep it up right now, it looks like they can. I mean, Hurd dropping back a little bit, but here goes Poplar. And this is John C. Cook. Cook on the right-hand side, the inside line. Poplar on the left. Poplar goes onto the gravel ever so slightly. How are they going to settle themselves down on turn number 5? Braking a little bit later there from Cook. And he is going to get a good run from Poplar. He goes to the outside of turn 7. It'll give him the inside into turn 8. Tapping the brakes to keep himself tight, not forcing anyone off the circuit. Malone has made his way back past Perez after a quick switch there, as they're fighting it out there for 7th overall right now. But this is for 5th in class of Division 1. There's contact. Poplar moves across into Cook, and Cook decides to bail out of that one, deciding he does not want any part of that, especially after seeing how Poplar was driving in Heat 2. There was some definite contact in Heat 2, and Poplar moves himself through up into 5th position right now. The fight for the lead continues on. The fight for 7th in class continues on. Matt Malone leading Ian Lane right now. There's a battle going on just behind as well. That's Neil Rox looking to try and get past Anthony Hilton. Hilton 2nd in class. Rosenfeld and McBuller battling it out behind as well. But they all settle themselves right now, and they are going to settle themselves down for that fight. Ian Lane, Matt Malone chasing down Aaron Perez. Are they going to be settling themselves down? Certainly doesn't look like they are right now. There's Jukovic and El Hilary, 4/10 between them. Hurd not too far back. Luis Henriquez feeling pretty safe in 4th right now. No one too close ahead or behind him as Harry Fox and Rosenfeld are going side by side. Could Fox do something up towards the hairpin here as we keep an eye on that battle for the lead right now? And they settle themselves down. Some little changes going out ahead of them as I have lost my mouse. I officially can't do anything. There we go. Clayton Bullock pushing Neil Watts. Both of them trying to get past Anthony Hilton. Teammates in... no, are they teammates? No, they're not. Two different teams. As we've got a Whisk Machine and a Formula Llama Machine. The Whisk Machine of Neil Watts makes that move and makes it stick as well. They are going to continue through as we see that battle for the lead right now. Out front is Jukovic and El Herrera as we keep an eye on the battle that is going on. There are some other battles going on as well right now, including this one for P number 10 in class. Is Fuller leading Fox, leading Rosenfeld, but Swaim is getting involved in this as well in the Division 2. He's trying to get himself involved in the Fix-It machine behind the Slugger machine, Timothy Rosenfeld. They're going to head up to the brakes here. Rosenfeld is on the left-hand side. Swaim on the right-hand side. Is Rosenfeld just going to be able to brake a little bit later and hold it? Yes, he is. Swaim allows him to hold that position. Leading Division number 2 still is Aaron Perez, still ahead of Matt Malone. Matt Malone pulling a little bit of a gap to Lane now. They're battling it out, and it looks like they are keeping it clean as well in their attempt. Martin gets past Swaim as Swaim goes back up the inside and gets back past Eric Martin. Martin wanted to get past Swaim because you've got Rosenfeld, Fox and Buller just up ahead for positions. 5 minutes left on the clock right now. It is about half a second still between Jukovic and El Herrera. So we are going to see if that gap is going to close down any moment now. It certainly isn't right now, which is a shame, but we're still watching all the other fights that are going on. Right now, Joshua Soto has made his move up the inside of Mark Codd, and that'll be for 14th and 15th in class. It's the back of the field in class right now, but they want every point that they can get. 14th and 15th, unfortunately for them, no points on offer. Bonus points on offer at the back there, but no points on offer for positions that they sit in. The reverse grid is going to be interesting though, see how many are involved this week. All bar one driver was involved in the reverse grid last week. Harry Fox is side by side with McBuller here as they come up towards the braking zone. It is going to be Fox on the inside, brakes later. That's McBuller trying to go for the switch back on the exit. Can he get the speed? He is all over the rear end of Clayton McBuller's bumper, and of Harry Fox's bumper. McBuller is on the rear of Fox, and he moves to the inside. There's contact. There's wheel-to-wheel contact. Fox jumps up into the air. They're still side by side here. McBuller on the inside of Fox. Fox holds it around the outside with speed, and here comes Timothy Rosenfeld. Can he get involved in this at all? Not just yet, but this is Ian Lane behind Matt Malone, behind Division 2 leader Aaron Perez. Matt Malone goes for the outside line on Perez, and Lane looks to the inside, decides safely to back out of that one. Can Matt Malone hold it on the outside of Aaron Perez here? It's for 7th overall. Black flag for Eric Martin. He will be down pit lane for a penalty. Side by side for Malone and Perez here. Up towards turn number 2. Lane doesn't know which one to go through. And right now he sits behind Perez. Malone goes through. Here comes Lane. Can he find the speed? Malone is going to love the fact that he's got a driver between himself and Lane right now. Lane, a little bit of a nudge on the back end of Aaron Perez there, but he holds on. Both of them, no issues for either of them there. 2 minutes left on the clock, heading up to about 2 laps to go. Eric Martin is down pit lane for his black flag, which is a shame for him. Something has happened to Rosenfeld very recently. Why has Rosenfeld towed? Let's find out. Timothy Rosenfeld here is out of the race. Up towards the hairpin. Has there been contact? Is it a mistake? And to the brakes, and he's hit from the back. He's hit from behind. He goes off the circuit. Doesn't seem like major damage though. It is broken suspension. Broken suspension for Timothy Rosenfeld as the fight for the lead has closed in with 2 laps to go here. Mohammed on the rear end of Jukovic. This is the lead for Division 1. As you can see, Division 2 settled itself down with the top 3 drivers, none of them with a pro driver directly behind. Thibaut and Ayala also with black flags. Martin with a second black flag. It looks like Ori did not serve the first one correctly, but all of them with black flags at the back of the field right now. Up towards the white flag though, Jukovic goes for the tight line. Mohammed for the outer line for the speed on the exit. He's gonna have great speed heading up towards turn number 2 here. On to the last lap. Apart from in the inverted grid, no one has beaten Jukovic so far this season. Can Mohammed do that? He's on the outside into turn 2. It's the long way round and it's dropped him back behind. Almost 4/10 of a second behind. That could have been his one and only opportunity there, unless there is some sort of mistake from Jukovic ahead. It looks like that yellow freeway machine is going to come home first once more. El Hariri is not going to let it go though, as Swaim from 4th in class is black flagged, as McBullough is around. Was there some contact between the 2 of them perhaps? As we head up towards the final turns, and it's going to be El Hariri trying to go for a different line. Jukovic goes defensive. El Hariri moves to the right, moves to the left. Not an overlap, but this could be a good exit here. It needs to be. But across the line they're going to go. It's going to be Jukovic ahead of El Hariri. There is the checkered flag. And Milan Jukovic wins once more here in feature race 1. It is going to be Perez winning Division 2 ahead of Malone and Lane in Division 1 there. Black flag for Swaim. Let's see if we can find out what happened here before we get the results of feature race 1. Up the inside. And a little bit of a nudge there. Is that nudge all it took to get the black flag? Or was it here up towards turn number 1? Up to the turn number 1. Is it going to be on the inside move here? There's a nudge, and there you go. There's the contact, and that is why there was a black flag for Spain right at the end of that one. Let's get a result then from our first feature race of the day. And it's Jukovic who won that one just ahead of Mohammed El Hariri. Stephen Hurd finished in 3rd, followed by Luis Henriquez, Bob Poplar and John Cook. Followed behind that was Aaron Perez in 7th position. Matt Malone took home 8th and Ian Lane 9th. Neil Rocks took home 10th in the end. So Perez winning division number 2. Anthony Hilton took 2nd in Division 2, followed by Harry Fox. And Riley Downey took 3rd in that 2nd division category. Richard Edgar and Levy Powell.
We do have another race coming up. We just got warmed up because of the heat. There's no way for me to turn it off. This is a little break period.
Joshua Soto came home in 16th, ahead of Paul Van Rouge. Mark Codden 18th, had a Zach Gould and Clayton McBuller. 21st position was Peter McIntyre, ahead of Zach Thibault and Jared Swaim. Eric Martin a lap down in the end, along 2 laps down for Edward Ayala. It was a DNF for Timothy Rosenfeld following that slight contact on the hairpin that broke his suspension. And Anders Hagland DNFing out of that race once more. As we wait for feature race number 2, I'm going to give you just a few moments to recover from that one as I go and grab myself a drink. We'll be back in just one moment. Now, just as a reminder for you newcomers out there, Feature Race 2, an inverted grid. Through a number of drivers randomly selected each week, a minimum of 15 drivers included in that invert. It's going to be interesting to know what number it is today. It was all bar one last week that ended up winning the what am I trying to say? Sorry, that ended up getting the invert last week. So that means the driver who finished second to last started this last race in pole position. Now, that means we're going to see a number of Division 2 drivers near the front of the field. What it also means in this 20-minute race is that we are going to see a few different points coming into play here. Clean racing, 5 bonus points if you can get a 0x and finish on the lead lap here. But you also get your hard chargers award. Drivers who move up the most positions. 6 points for those that move up the most. 4 for those that move up the second most. And 2 for those that move the third most in this race. Warm-up is coming to a close here, which means that we are about to prepare ourselves for feature race number 2. The 4th and final race of the day here in the Renault Clio.
All right, good luck everyone. 20-minute race with the invert, which is 20 cars this week. And, yeah, good luck.
And we are going to see the invert is Clayton McBuller, who is in the invert lead
If you haven't
here
noticed, it's almost
today,
nighttime now.
which puts it the top 20 reversed, which means Jukovic starts in 20th. Now, in the reverse grid last week, Jukovic was not able to move up the order. Now, the sun is starting to set. It's starting to get darker here around Sebring as we are preparing for the final race of the day. An estimated 17 laps of running coming up with some great racing so far. And some great racing, I'm sure, in this last race.
There's a 30% chance of missing turn 5.
As we can hear,
I thought you were going to make a rain, but that was just as good.
we can hear some radio in the background there.
Gotcha.
Some discussion about the weather, particularly rain. It'd be great to see some wet races this season. It's the only time I won a race in the Renault Clio League was in the inverted grid in the wet, managing to hold off the drivers, including Timothy Rosenfeld, who we have to remember is not involved in that reverse inverted grid here.
Good luck with that.
McIntyre, Thibaut, Swain, Martin, Ayala, Rosenfeld and Hagland all missing out on the reversed grid on this one. It doesn't look like we've got Rosenfeld or Hagfield out on track right now, so we might not see either of them taking part in feature race number 2 here. Rosenfeld could have a good opportunity at bonus points from the hard charger award if he does take part. Eric Martin in the same position there, along with all the other drivers that are starting down the order, especially those in division number 1. Feature race 2 then, 20 minutes on the clock. We are preparing ourselves for green flag running, and away we go. We're green for the final race of the day. McBuller from the front ahead of Gould. McBuller in division 1 will be loving this right now. Mark Codd up into second in class right now as well, as they all mix around, as they settle themselves down at the front, but not further back. Side-by-side action for those behind, looking to try and gain some early positions here. Of course, if you can do it at a 0x, you can get 5 extra bonus points. Only if you can keep it clean right now, and that's exactly what McBuller can do. Out in front, he is pulling a clear lead over Zach Gould, which give him a great advantage on getting a clear race here. All of those lights blaring away as they head up towards the hairpin, under the bridge there, through the long right-hander, the big bend, and up to the hairpin here on lap number 1. As we go onto the brakes, they are going to go mostly single file at start before we start to get some side-by-side action here behind. A few drivers running off the circuit there. Cook moves up into 22nd position as we are going to see off of the opening lap our hard chargers are Henriquez, Hurd and El Herrera moving up positions and looking for those bonus points. That's what that is in the right hand side. It is our bonus points for our hard charger awards. So keep an eye on that as we go through this race. McBuller leading the way right now. A few fights going on just behind. In fact, a big fight going on with Zach Gould in third position. Is it? It looks like, yes it is. It is Zach Gould in third position, and it is Joshua Soto off the track trying to get past Gould. Now Gould, sorry, in second position, has done a great job at Laguna Seca in the reverse grid, holding on position before a later issue where he ran off the track at turn 1. Well, turn 2 technically. Why is every turn 1 turn 2? But anyway, through turn 2 he ran off. Hopefully he doesn't do the same here today. But there are fights still going on. Side-by-side battles going on behind. And who is that missing the braking point? That's Aaron Perez, who won in dominant fashion in feature race 1 in the Division 2 category. He goes off after some big contact and he gets a meatball flag. Aaron Perez is going to need to dive to the right-hand side. He's letting drivers through, and he does. Luckily, without any contact, he makes his way through. McBuller is going to be loving Zach Gould right now because Clayton Buller is pulling a dramatic lead as that's contact for Van Booge on the back of Zach Gould. Gould just defending his life out here for P2 overall. P1 in Division 2. Not as many points on offer, of course, because it is the reverse grid. A lot more points on offer through the bonuses. Here is our hard charger award, and currently Luis Henriquez is going to win that. Here comes Harry Fox. He moves to the outside, heading up towards turn 10 of the hairpin. Can he make his way past Gould onto the brakes? Gould brakes early. He allows Fox through. Gould now has 2 Division 2 drivers behind him. Levy Powell and Riley Downey behind. Aaron Perez has cleared his meatball flag. Will we see him back out on track? As Matt Malone is also out of this running, all the way at the back of the field. He didn't get a meatball flag up, so it'll be interesting to see what he gets there, as it's Jukovic most positions gained right now ahead of Harry Fox, as there are a number of positions going up and down the order right now. That seems to be changing a fair bit as we go on, but this is Jukovic right now, he's 14. Actually, I don't think that most positions gained is working, you know, that keeps on changing all of the time. But Levy Powell right now is going to try and get past that Gould for the lead in Division 2. Now, Gould is doing such a good job defending that Clayton Buller and Fox are running the fastest lap times out on track at the moment and pulling away. You can see there's a couple of gaps here and there, but there is quite a few, just a big train of drivers behind Gould here. But he is doing a great job at leading this division right now. Mark Codd goes through as Richard Edgar misses the hairpin, takes the long way around there, and we will rejoin as Stephen Hurd has a meatball. What has happened there to Hurd? Let's see if we can find out. Big hit with the wall. Whoa. We just caught the end of that one. Let's see that one again as Ian Lane, the fastest driver out on track right now. Let's see what's happened to Hurd. Is there a 3-wide action? Yes, there's gonna be, surely. A little bit of 3-wide. No, there's a nudge. There is a nudge behind and an innocent party in all of that. A real shame there, an innocent party, as his tyres have decided to do a little bit of a disco dance there for Stephen Hurd. He is down pit lane. 15 minutes on the clock. McBuller leading the way right now in Division 1 with Fox in second. Rocks third in Division 1. Powell and Downey in Division 2 because Gould has fallen down the order. Has had some issue whilst we were watching that replay there as Ian Lane swerves to the right-hand side, but a defensive move from Hilton ahead. In fact, Hilton going for an overtake on Paul Van Rouge here for 4th in class. Can he make it stick? A little bit of a lag there from Van Rouge, but they are still side by side. Lane following through. There is Bob Poplet as well. Poplet has done a good job of moving drivers out of his way when he's wanted them out of his way. And it looks like there may have been a little bit of a nudge on Lane, who wobbled ever so slightly there. Fastest lap to Jukovic here, doing a much better job of moving up the order this week than he did last week. He is battling it out for P12 right now with El Herrera. He's on the outside line, as that is Enriquez on the inside line. He moves to the right hand side. That was a very risky move. Could have been taken off there. Wasn't taken off. They're still side by side in this fight. But El Herrera now side by side with Ian. Sorry, no, now Jukovic side by side with Ian Lane. And he does make that move through. So Jukovic has gone from 20th to 10th. He is really pushing for the hard charger award this week. If he can get it up towards the braking zone. Who is getting pushed on the outside there? Is it Poplet pushing anyone? No, it's not. It's all safe right now. But Downey moves into the lead of Division 2. Fighting it out here with Neil Rocks. Neil Rocks on the right-hand side. That's going to turn to the inside line here. Under braking. Can Rocks take third overall? He's third in class already. Yes, he can. Joshua Soto goes up the inside of Levy Powell. Can't do it. Riley Downey gets back into third on the exit. Neil Rocks sits behind Joshua Soto, though, keeps the position ahead of Neil Powell, and off goes Division 2 leader Riley Downey. Through goes Levy Powell. Through goes Zach Gould, and a penalty for Anthony Hilton from that contact. He has reached the instant limit. He has been black flagged after contact with Riley Downey there. Downey side by side with Jukovic right now. Jukovic off the circuit. No, he isn't. He's on the curbing. Perfect line there from him. He keeps it ahead of Downey. Jukovic 10th in class right now, and he's going to be going for it up towards the hairpin. Is he going to hold it ahead of Downey? Downey tucks in. Yes, he is. Hilton is going to be under attack here from Henriquez and El Herrera. He's obviously going to have to peel off to the right-hand side. Is he going to keep it out of the way and keep it safe? He sticks far to the right-hand side. There he goes. Is he going to be able to make it into pit lane? It's a very challenging and weird pit entry, but he does. That moves Henriquez and El Herrera into 10th and 11th overall, and it clears them of that fight. Joshua Soto is behind Neil Rocks now in the battle for third in class. Levy Powell leads Division 2. Zach Gould in third. Riley Downey is 9th overall, but third in class right now. This reverse grid has proved some great action in the first half of this race. And El Herrera, what has happened to him? He has had some sort of issue through turn 6. Has he forgotten about the international and club layout? It looks like possibly really deep there. And El Herrera moves off the circuit. Not the greatest of lines there for Mohammed, unfortunately. But here is Soto going for the battle on Rocks for third overall and third in class. Up through turn number 1 and up towards turn number 2 here. Going to be onto the brakes. Can there be any move just yet? Nope. Soto 6 just behind him, 23. But he gets a really nice fast run there through turn 2. Just pushing it out slightly wider, flashing his headlights at Rocks, trying to distract him here. Is he going to be able to make a move up to turn 5? No, he doesn't want to. He sits behind. He was certainly close enough for a move. Is he going to go for a move in turn 6? No, once again, sit behind. His run is going to be up to turn 10 for sure. Up towards that hairpin as Joshua Soto follows Neil Rocks behind. Levy Powell is that driver just behind. He's 5th overall. He is first in class as Zach Gould moves down to third in class as he's gone off the track, made a mistake, and Downey has moved into second in class. Enriquez gets through as well for 9th overall. This is the battle though for third in Division 1. Rocks and Soto heading out up towards the hairpin. Fox is closing up towards McBuller. There could be a fight for the lead come the end of this, just like we saw at Laguna Seca in the last couple of weeks. couple of weeks, couple of laps, I meant. As this is what's still leading the way. Nothing that Soto can do in this fight just yet. Fights further back though, most of them going single file for now, trying to keep it just safe and clean as we are just over halfway through this race. Hurd and Swain both out of this race. Malone out as well. Ayala a lap down right now, but it is McBuller leading the way. This continues to be the fight for P3 right now. There's about a tenth or two between them. Powell could technically be involved in this one, I would say, as well. But as you can see, he's not in this class, so it's not too much of a worry for this one right now. As we continue to watch going on, it is Rox ahead of Soto. Is he waiting towards the end of this one, perhaps, as Eric Martin down in 17th overall, 12th in class, has received a black flag. He will be down the very weird pit lane here. Hilton obviously recovering from a black flag is in 19th, as McIntyre with that issue obviously out of this race as well. It looks like he had that rather recently. He did, as we catch the end of it. What has happened here? As it looks like it's on the outside for Peter McIntyre, and it looks like it's that Hot Wheels driver again. He's already been involved in one crash, and it's a second bit of contact in the same part of the circuit, and a big hit for the 404, and he's off the track, so that is out of the race for Peter McIntyre, as Riley Downey moves up into 8th overall ahead of Ian Lane. Zach Gould moves down to 10th overall ahead of Zach Tebow, so Gould and Tebow are going to be battling it out very shortly for 3rd in class, but Powell looking pretty confident right now. 1st in class, 4th overall, but he does have Poplet right behind. Poplet dives to the inside. He gets it. Powell not fighting too hard on that one. He knows he's not in the same division. And here comes Jukovic here. Jukovic has won Heat Race 1. He's won Feature Race 1. Can he pull it back and win Feature Race 2? He's coming from 20th on the grid. It's less to move up from last week, but it's still a huge amount of drivers to move up. He's moved up 14 places overall so far, as Fox has taken the lead of this one. How has that happened? Has there been some sort of issue for McBuller? No, Fox was all around over the rear of Clayton McBuller as they headed up to turn number 2. It's a look up the inside of turn 2, and a nice easy move for Harry Fox puts him into the lead here. Jukovic and Enriquez, as it looks like El Herrera has had some sort of issue. He's now down the order as well, trying to fight it out with Van Rouge. He makes up the order. What's happened here for El Herrera, side by side with Gould, I think that is. On the outside, has it been some sort of mistake? It could be another mistake in turn 6. We've seen that before. He's off at 5. And it is the Ace-Tech machine of Van Rouge up his inside. No, it was just a genuine battle. No big mistake there, but he is down the positions as Jukovic has got past Powell as well. And he moves up into 5th overall. Powell sitting comfortably still in the lead at Division 1, but now only has Luis Henriquez between himself and Riley Downey, who is 2nd in class. Ian Lane is 7th in class, and then it's Zach Tebow, Division number 2, 3rd position. 4.5 minutes left on the clock. About 4 laps to go after this one. I think we've said goodbye to Soto, McIntyre and Ayala as well. All of them multiple laps down. Aaron Perez, a great start to the weekend in the heat races and in Feature Race 1. But Perez, well, not as great in Feature Race 1, but a good result. But this is not the result he wanted. He is 8th in class, so it is still going to be points for Aaron Perez, but not as many as he would have been hoping for here. Fight for 3rd in class now between Rock, Poplet and Jukovic. Jukovic wanting to get the inverted grid podium, which would be great from 20th place. as we come up now. 4 laps left on the clock. Rouge goes past John Cook. Might have been some issue for Cook. They're down in 15th place. Fox is pulling a gap on McBuller here. I don't think this battle for third is going to catch up to McBuller, so I think he's going to be safe there. As Van Rouge gets past Gould, they are side by side for 4th in class. But Van Rouge is past Gould here. Gould has got Cook now just behind, trying to get involved. He's on the outside. Gould holds it. I have to say, I do like that livery that Zach Gould runs, and that's a black flag. The 9th place runner, Matt Codd, has contact between Cook and Gould. Gould gets a black flag as well. But that is a real shame for Mark Codd. He was in points. Cook was in points in 5th. Cook has decided... Codd is actually got major damage as well. So what has happened to Codd here is he's got the black flag. Has he just decided he's had enough of it? Yes, he has. He's got the black flag and he's decided the international layout seems like a good layout to run. And he's crashed into that one. Let's see if we can continue catching here. Oh, as we don't seem to have anyone on screen right now. Which is fantastic. As here we go, we see this fight. Anthony Hilton, he's got Edgar and Gould there, but Gould's going to fight, dive off. So this is now Edgar and Hilton fighting for 5th in class right now. They settle themselves down with Hilton ahead of Edgar. Gould technically gaining that position there through the pit lane, but will lose it again. Here he comes on the way out. Very weird pit lane. It's an interesting one, I have to say, but he comes out as McBuller has actually closed back down to 7/10 to Fox here. So could there be some sort of fight here out at front, as it looks like even more drivers going out of this one towards the end of the race. But this is Jukovic. He has got past Powell a few laps to go, of course, but he is going to try and get past Poplet now as Poplet goes defensive up the inside. Neil Rocks is leading this train of drivers. 1.5 minutes means that we are going to get 2 more laps to go as we have going across the line. It's Rocks ahead. Eric Martin is going to be black flagged. He was 10th in the pro category. He's going to be black flagged, but all of the drivers behind him in the pro category, in the Division 1 category are out, as this is side-by-side action for 4th position. Jukovic is going to hit Poplet there with a little bit of door-to-door combat, but they're going to get the position, and Jukovic moves into 4th position in class. I was going to say that Martin is going to hold on to 10th even with that black flag in class because the drivers behind are all out. But Jukovic moves up to 4th in class and will now have 1 lap to close the gap down to Neil Rocks for 3rd position. McBuller closes to 6/10 behind Fox. Could he do something as we approach the white flag lap here? Up onto the brakes, Jukovic. About 7/10 between himself and Fox. It is actually closer. Out in the lead right now. Harry Fox leading the way onto the white flag lap. The final lap of the race. Clayton McBuller behind in P2, followed by Rocks. Jukovic in 4th, followed by Poplet. Powell is leading Division 2. He's 6th overall, and he has done a good job at doing that as well. Up towards lap number 18, if there was another one. There won't be, though. Harry Fox keeps that gap at about 6/10. It's down to 3/10 in the battle from 3rd between Rocks and Jukovic. Poplet has lost a lot of time back. Hopefully no black flags on this last lap. Harry Fox, though, looks like he's going to win as there's a fight behind Henriquez, Poplet, and Levy Powell as Poplet drops back. Why has he done that? What is going on for Poplet? He has fallen so far down at the very end of this race. But through goes Jukovic and Henriquez. So through goes Henriquez into 5th.
Well done, Harry, mate.
What
Good
a
drive from you there.
great result that was. Absolutely fantastic. As the racing comes to a close here, let's have a look at how the results show at the end.
Yeah, I ran out of fuel,
of
Riley, so I appreciate
feature
the
race
bump. I
2.
actually genuinely needed that.
Harry Fox won that
I was
ahead
wondering
of
if that's what
Clayton
happened, Bob.
McBuller. Neil Rocks in third ahead of Milan Jukovic. Lewis Henriquez in fifth, followed by Levy Powell. Levy Powell winning Division 2 actually ahead of Riley Downey. Ian Lane in eighth,
good
followed by Zach
everyone.
Tebow. And Mohamed Al-Hiri could
Anything
not
that needs
take
to be brought up that
advantage.
needs to be reviewed for like incidents that you put into iRacing, feel free to put it in a post-race discussion or anything related to today's races goes there in Discord. And see you all next week at Daytona Road Short. Umbrellas recommended.
Mohamed Al-Hiri taking home 10th in the end. It was Bob Poblet behind, followed by Paul Van Rouge, Anthony Hilton in 13th, Richard Edgard 14th. 15th was John J.C. Cook, followed by Aaron Perez, Zach Gould in 17th.
Thanks everyone for coming out.
Martin a lap down, and out of this race with Cod, McIntyre, Soto, Ayala, Hurd, Swaim, and Matt Malone. A fantastic race then here at Sebring as the lights go down, the sun goes down, and the races are done for the day. But we will be back again next week at Daytona Road on August 2nd. We will be seeing the third round of the Renault Clio League. If you want to catch up with all of the highlights and the full half-an-hour extended highlights from round 1 and the upcoming extended highlights for round 2, go over to the Beehive Bill YouTube channel and you can catch all of the previous live streams plus the highlights over there. But I will see you next week at Daytona on August 2nd for round number 3. If you want to continue watching motorsport action though, stick around because we have the finale of the Matt Malone Patron League coming up in a moment's time. Here from the Renault Clio League, that is all. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.